everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. And here's Dr. Michael Garko.
Well, thank you. Stephen yelling at you.
I have two different feeds on audio. I don't get to hear his feed.
Yeah, he doesn't get the internal IFB feed, and I was telling Gary, wait, Gary, because I hadn't put him on yet. He started talking, so if I would have put him on, he would have been like 8255 and just in the middle of conversation. So that's why I was
usually
yelling.
my conversations anyway.
That is true.
Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Great to be with you. Thanks for stopping by today. Hope you're having a good day. It is, for Tampa, it is cold here today. We're a bunch of babies down here, man.
Yeah. The rest of the LTN network, it's probably cold also. So.
Oh, she called me the other night. I said, where are you going? I'm going to get something to eat, Dad. I went to get some dinner. I said, how cold is it? She said, it's 22.
Might have to put
she
a
lives in
Snuggie
Chicago.
on.
She lives in Chicago. It's 22. I said, oh, my land. Oh, jeez. And I had the air conditioning on in the house.
And she's running in that. I saw the other day she ran 6 miles in it.
She's crazy. She's crazy. The woman is, she's out of her mind.
Yeah, I got tripped by the weather this morning as well because whatever reason, cars have the sensors and they've got the temperature gauge and everything. Mine had switched over to Celsius. Somehow I had hit a button, and as I was driving my daughter to school this morning, it said 11 degrees. And, of course, it was Celsius. I was like, what the? It took me a moment. I'm like, it's not that cold.
It's not that cold. It's not 11 degrees.
It moves. It's me and Doc were talking before the show, and it moves the wild animals. The cold does.
Listen, a lot of people in their yards, they have rabbits. Once in a while, a stray dog will come along or a cat. Gary, one of my producers, I'm not making this up. This boy, he said, Doc, last night the coyotes were back. I said, what? He said, yeah, I got coyotes. I said, what? And I said, are they in a pack? He said, yeah, it's a pack. It's about 4 or 5 of them. This is Florida. I didn't know we had wild coyotes around here. Where do you live, brother? And then he has, there's Molly the mule, Albert the alligator. You got Albert the alligator, Molly the mule, wild coyotes, and yes. What does the matter with you? Move to the city.
It's peaceful. It's peaceful.
You like it out there?
Yeah.
All right. If it brings you happiness, enjoy it.
We were talking about happiness the other day, me and you, and we were talking about, what makes you happy. And it's such a part of health that you really don't realize that.
Gary, in humanistic psychology, happiness is it's a big deal. I mean, there is so much research on happiness, and whatever makes you happy, all the expressions we have, right, about happiness, people on their quest for happiness. Some people, you can never make them happy. Others, give them a little and they're just, in heaven. But happiness, you're absolutely right. It is a centerpiece of wellness and well-being. And what brings people what brings one person happiness brings another, I don't know what. But it is. I should talk more about that on the air. It's sort of a touchy-feely concept, but it is connected to our health and our wellness. I get it. Oftentimes, those are justified. And people want to put the federal government out of business. It is catastrophic. It would be catastrophic. This shutdown really highlights how important the federal agencies are. My God, we pay for them, and we should use them, and they should be working. And those people shouldn't be working without pay. But nobody's inspecting the food right now. And you hear me report on this show, Listeria, E. coli. I mean, I go every other day, there is some alert about food contamination on this show. and I do it intentionally. I report it to make us aware. I mean, we don't want to be walking around in some false sense of comfort. The ongoing federal government shutdown has stopped most food safety inspections. The FDA is planning to resume at least some of them. I don't know how. What are they going to do? Have a donut sale or something? To do that, the agency is going to have to force furloughed workers to do what? Come back to work and not get paid. They're going to force them. Now, how do you force them? You threaten their job? I mean, how do you do that? I'm curious. I'm curious. I don't know. The FDA commissioner, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, said he's trying to pinpoint the most essential inspections while making sure that employees do not suffer too much. He said, quote, "There's no question of whether it's business as usual at FDA." Really? It's not business as usual. And we're not doing all the things we would do under normal circumstances, Gottlieb said. There are important things we are not doing. I'm sure of that. No food inspections. Given what I know about food contamination and food safety, this is like a high wire act over the Grand Canyon without some sort of safety device. You're totally at risk. This is crazy. We don't think about these things. The Coast Guard, those people are suffering. They're shut down. Oh, and by the way, the Coast Guard is one of the main agencies to interdict drugs coming into the United States. My God, we are insane. I don't know. This means the FDA inspectors are not looking for, the usual suspects. Salmonella in breakfast cereal, E. coli in romaine lettuce, listeria in the ice cream, all these things that I report on. Companies are making their own checks, and the FDA is still announcing those recalls. Well, you can announce all day long, pal, but go ahead and announce. There's nothing you can do about it. Unbelievable. 877-897-8255. I guess we'll get through this all. Somehow, some way, we got to get this government open. We don't want food not being inspected. You're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast and globally.
Anxiety Free is a powerful formula for the relief of anxiety and stress, designed to increase feelings of well-being, build resistance to fatigue and tension, counteract stress, and reduce irritability.
Anxiety Free, when we built it, it was important to us that we not only helped people with their anxiety as they see it, but also support the body in the damage that can happen from the nervous system being run too hard.
Anxiety Free is more for the individual that has a lot of pressure coming down on them. So if they tend to have a lot of fear, worry, apprehension, anxiety, obviously, then Anxiety Free is more for that individual. This is another classic example of helping to feed the adrenal glands, because again, if you're under constant stress, whether that be physically, emotionally, if you're just constantly work, and then at home you just want to crash, you get a full 8 hours of sleep, and you wake up and you're still tired, that's a reason to help support the adrenal glands.
When you look at anxiety and how it impacts your body, there's a couple of things that happen. One is, of course, you don't feel as good. And the reason why that is because you release a lot of adrenaline, you release a lot of cortisol, you're worrying, you don't feel as good. When we built Anxiety Free, it was important that we nourish the nervous system, and then we use some key herbs that are really precious in Ayurvedic medicine, meaning that they're from India. Holy basil is one of those, and then ashwagandha.
These are really classic supporters and critical supporters of the adrenal glands, and they're adaptogens. They help the body adapt to whatever situation it's under. So if you're under a lot of pressure, if you're under a lot of stress, ashwagandha and holy basil are kind of there to help support that individual. We have the B vitamins in there. We have the mental support, which is the GABA and L-theanine. And L-theanine, you could also find it in per se green tea. And then from that, we also have the calming herbs, the lavender, lemon balm, passion flower. These are really, really good to help support the nerves.
Your health's going to be better because you didn't have this elevated stress as high as it would have been without the help of these herbs and vitamins and amino acids that help your body deal with stress and anxiety.
For more information, please visit us at rcherbals.com.
As I just reported, the FDA is not doing food inspections, all right, because of this government shutdown, and people are at risk. Let me give you an example. You know, I don't know, maybe some people think I make this stuff up. I don't do that. How about this one? Chocolate caramel candies. Okay. Why would you say chocolate caramel candies and hepatitis A in the same sentence? Why? Because these caramel candies made in Kentucky may be contaminated with hepatitis A. And we have no food inspectors going on right now. But the FDA warned, they issued the warning. Certain candies made by a company in Kentucky could be contaminated with hepatitis A. Seriously. That is so contagious. It's a contagious infection. Let me tell you that. It affects the liver. That's the last thing you want to get. Bowers, B-A-U-E-R. You know, if Bauer candies. Bowers candies, chocolate or caramel mojuscas. What is that? Marshmallow candies dipped in chocolate or caramel are subject to warning. The FDA is, quote, advising consumers not to eat and to throw away any Bowers candies, chocolate, or caramel, and I can't even pronounce this word, M-O-D-J-E-S-K-A-S, Mojuscas, purchased after November 14th, 2018. Why would you even have those things around the house after that? Because a worker in the facility tested positive for hepatitis A. That's a quote from the FDA. And right now, due to the government shutdown, Gary.
Who's inspecting it?
They're at home inspecting their refrigerators.
Well, we had a hepatitis outbreak here in Tampa at a restaurant, and they shut the whole chain down because of it.
Absolutely. I mean, these you hear me report on toward the last part of 2018, if you noticed, I started to report more and more on microorganisms of all sorts. I'm going to continue that theme in 2019. Now, to be fair, the risk of contracting hepatitis A may be low, but nevertheless, statistics, as I always tell you, are abstractions of reality. Maybe one out of so many, but if you're that one, it's no longer an abstraction. Your liver would be, oh my gosh, hepatitis A is horrible. It's a virus, and it will attack the liver. It spreads when a person eats or drinks something contaminated by a small, undetected amount of stool. Listen to what I just said. Stool from an infected person. Disgusting. Humans. 87. Tell them how to connect, Gary.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK. Dr. Garko's personal email is drgarko@letstalknutrition.com. Follow us and like us and share us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, on Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have over 58,000 views at Let's Talk Nutrition, where everything is archived and put up there by date, and it's closed caption for the hearing impaired.
A study of 9,652 middle-aged people in the United Kingdom, they measured their body mass index, body mass index, BMI, excuse me, and waist to hip ratio. This study found a link between obesity and reduced brain volume in 4 regions of the brain. Be mindful. There's an irony here. The brain is constituted in dry weight of 60% fat. And fat around the middle is now a risk factor for a smaller volume. I need every neuron I got here. Based on these criteria, they said nearly 1 in 5 of the people in the study was found to be obese. Dr. Hammer and his fellow researchers also used an MRI to scan the subject's brain volume. The researchers factored in age, physical activity, smoking, high blood pressure, all of these intervening variables. They checked for them. They controlled for them because why? They also can reduce brain volume. People with higher numbers of both BMI and waist to hip ratio had the lowest gray matter volume. That's astonishing.